I really appreciate that. I've been wearing these freaking Monarchs for years now.
Are they comfortable?
You can go to the movie if you want to. You can mow your front lawn. You can do whatever you want these things.
Where'd you get a pair?
That's the advantage of living in Vegas. You don't have to mow your front lawn.
That's exactly right.
Pete, obviously, you made a big move yesterday, releasing Christian Wilkins. Talk about the thought process that went into it, but also moving forward, how do you go about replacing that projected?
It took a long time to make our decision, we watched our way through the whole thing. We're keeping really clear with what we said. I think there was no clear path to his return, and so we just had to move on.
Obviously, we won't talk specifics, but Chip is using, you got a lot of weapons on offense, and he's being extremely creative. How exciting is it for you, because you're known as a creative guy, to see what he's doing with your offense?
No way. Yeah, matter of fact, you watch him as he starts each period, man. He sends a message about what's coming and what isn't coming to the defense. He's competing like crazy in it. He has so much history, so much background, and he is a creative master. Now, he's been that for years, all the way back to the tempo stuff that he did years ago that set everybody on their ear in football. He's just been that way. It's really fun. And we are feeling our guys. We are feeling the roles. We are feeling the opportunity to mix guys in and do the things they do really well. And we're learning. We've only been at it 3 days here now, but we're learning. But we already have a sense that we have something special going.
About replacing Christian Wilkins, and how good do you feel about this young group of players that you have?
This place is about competition. It always has been, and it's just wide open. And I don't need to talk about any names right now. I think the fact, if you watch the rotations, and we're giving everybody a chance, mixing guys with the ones and the twos all the way throughout, just to gather a bunch of information. I went right back to cut-ups yesterday of the first 2 days, just watching each individual guy, and we're just putting the information in the vault here, and we'll figure it out in time. But we have a good young, spunky group of guys now, and the young guys that came in this past draft are part of that competition too. So it's exciting.
I've seen him do that a couple of years, and obviously out here. What do you see in that third year?
I think this is really his time. I think this is his time. He had a little bit of injury issue early on. Last year he made improvement. I'm counting on him to do stuff in a big way, and that's not. It's not just outside of the end where he is a real natural. We're moving him around, trying to see what we can do, and working complement with our other rushers. But I'm really enthused about how he's shown his effort and his concern about doing things really hard and full speed and all that. So that's a really good sign. So he's a marvelous looking athlete.
It's very early, but are you happy with your rookies? It looks like, they're really, the effort's been impressive.
Right now, we had 3 terrific days of practice. We really did. Each one of them was everybody did everything they could. Then we challenged to come back and do it again. And this is the 3rd day to finish this first rhythm of it. And this was probably our best practice. So the focus and the intensity and working to try to maximize these opportunities, because we're still in a controlled mode, and OTA kind of mode right now. I love what we've done in 3 days. Yeah, I told him right off the bat I want him to play inside, and he's always been so instinctive and so aggressive and such a run-through guy. Been a fantastic blitzer over his time, so we want to put him in position to do that. So he's jumped right into the will spot, and that gives us some flexibility that we're gonna grow with. He looks really good. He had a real serious injury a bit ago. He looks like he's back, and so weighing a little bit more than he was before. He fit just right. So I'm really anxious to see how he takes it.
How about the familiarity working with him? How valuable is that? You know him so well.
Yeah. Cole, do you have any questions, by the way, before you get out of here? If you guys do.
Hey, can we get some space, guys? Guys, we're crowding the podium a little bit.
What am I sweating? Go back. Ask him.
Familiarity about working with Jamal before. How important is that?
It's really important. We made a big trade to get him because of who he is and the nature of his football, style of play, aggressiveness, toughness, and his mentality is really unique. That's why we were so willing to go after him a while back. So to get a chance to get him back in our organization right now and kind of give him an opportunity to get back in flow of the kind of play he's capable of, I'm all over it. And it is because I know him really well and because I think the world of him. And so his style of play is so suitable for what we're trying to do here about being aggressive and tough and all that. And so we'll see what happens. He's competing.
What has Jonah Laulu shown you so far in the time you've been working with him?
Jonah hasn't done anything but the right stuff so far. He's been on it. I found him watching film, coming off of last season before we even got back together and all that. And I thought I saw some really good traits about him. And so I've been kind of in his corner the whole time, pushing him to be one of in the front line of this thing. And so far, he's shown us the flexibility to play different spots, which is good. He's playing really hard. He's playing really smart, and he's making a bid for us. So it's exciting.
Obviously, it's a different position, but do you see Jamal maybe as a Charles Haley, just a primary pass rusher, or do you think he can do all three downs at will?
No, I don't see him as a primary pass rusher. I think he's an instinctive guy that can do a lot of things. So we don't want to put him on, in any place that locks that down. So he'll be behind the line of scrimmage and on the edge, moving around, just like our system calls for. And he might be a great fit for us. So we're going to give him a heck of a chance.
Coached against some of the greats in this game. When you see Max Crosby doing what he does out there, almost like it's a Super Bowl every rep.
Yeah, he really truly is the epitome of what we're looking for in this program. And he doesn't just speak it; he does it. He's a monster on the offense every day. And I mentioned to Gino, every time he rushes, you have to be aware that you may have to duck on his speed rush. You may have to flush on his up and unders. He's just that big of a factor, and he's given DJ all he wants, and it's a great opportunity for him to work against a terrific football player. But his presence is really obvious, and it's not just the passing game. Him chasing the football and his consistent intensity is really ideal for what we're looking at.
Coach, sorry if I missed this already, but what have in time passed since the time you coached Jamal previously to now? What has changed about him, whether as a leader or as a player, that you've seen so far?
Well, he's overcome a major surgery and a major injury, and I've had a couple guys that have gone through that, and it takes a couple years. And so here we are, So I know who he is, and I know what he brings, and I know what he's trying to accomplish and getting back going again, and we'll see what happens. But he's going to get a real shot, as is everybody. But I'm going to give him a real shot because I can imagine how much of a factor he can be on your defense if he's out there. So got great spirit, great competitiveness about him. So, there's nothing I love more about in a player. That's why we went for him in such a big way before.
We saw season ticket holders on day one of camp, and then it was open to the public yesterday with hundreds of Raiders fans here. No fans today, but what has it been like just being immersed in Raider Nation for the first time?
We need more. Hey, the invitation's wide open. When we have our open days, let's get all of our people in there. I'm okay if we overflow it. Okay, we can have as many as we want, as we can get in here. So the invitation's wide open, and we need them. It is a factor in our practice. It gives us a presence of there's people watching. We're never going to play a game where they're not going to be looking at us and watching us, put us on big TV looks and all that. I want them to feel that as much as possible. So it's great to have them. We need more.
Can you talk about Gino a little bit, and just it's the early stages of camp, but you also have the OTAs. Where is he in terms of comfort level with Chip's offense?
Well, first off, they're connecting. They're going shoulder to shoulder in this thing. We're really working hard with Gino because he has such good history. He's had so many principles and things that he's done that he's mastered. Those will be part of what we're doing as well as the stuff that Chips brings that's creative. Gino being here is such a positive factor for restarting this program, and not just because we were together and he extends the message. He is the message. He competes every single day, every step he takes. He's just the version of Max on the other side of the ball, and that kind of leadership, it's just obvious. He doesn't have to give any speeches or nothing. He just is a leader, and so it's just a big factor in jumpstarting. And also when we're on the field, you see the plays day after day. He keeps making great plays, great throws, great decisions. Scramble one in today, and everybody realizes what we got. And so the D-line are looking to take care of him in the pass rush situations. They're trying to keep him fresh and not get in his way because we want him playing for us. So it's been a great start, and we're just getting going. There's just no hindrances at all, none.
Competition and energy has always been a big part of wherever you've coached previously, but when you get a chance to reset and do something new for the first time, what are the biggest differences in terms of how you structure things and your message than maybe what you did in Seattle?
Yeah, I was taught a long time ago that you either have a philosophy or you don't, and we have one. But the philosophy is affected by the people, and how they adapt to it and how they make it come to life and all that. And that's what this process. So my biggest challenge is to give them the ways that we believe we can play our football, but then let it become theirs. And so it's really a fun challenge, and it's why I'm so charged up. And I've been a little bit fired up since I've been here. I know that. I know you might have seen that or not. But each practice is an opportunity for us. Each day is a statement of who we are, what we're all about. are we there again? Are we consistent? Are we battling? And so it's a coach's dream to have an opportunity like this, really. And so the fellas are responding in a way that's making it really fun. And we're going to get pads a couple days from now. We'll really start to bring it.
Looking forward to when pads come on.
It's a big statement for us to make that we're stepping out of the OTA mode and all of that, because the game is at the line of scrimmage and both sides of the football. And until we start knocking each other around and battling to make each other better, you really don't know where you are. And so we can only evaluate what we can, and we've at this point we're in great shape with understanding our players, but this is the next step. And so there's not that many padded days before we're playing, so we'll take advantage of every one of them and expect our guys to get after each other. They realize that it's the guy across from them that makes them, and so that understanding is to bring out the best in everybody. And so hopefully it'll be really fun to watch.
Yesterday, you guys said that you have commitment to excellence on and off the field. Was that sort of sending a message about the expectation that you guys have for this club moving forward?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. We have extremely high expectations. I don't even know any other way to think. And I don't care what year it is or what team it is. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, this is either going for it or you're not. And we're going for it. And whatever that means at the end of it, we'll find out. But in the meantime, there is no standard that we can set high enough that we can't challenge for. And so we're going for it, like I said, and these guys are on board. They get it.
Something that I noticed is how much you kind of move around your defensive backs and kind of like in rotation. A lot of guys getting in there in the backfield. What do you believe is the intentionality behind that, of kind of being an open competition? Who's some guys that you like?
We're gathering information, really, and I want them to feel what I'm saying. This is, you're either competing or you're not, and so I've got to give them the opportunity to show what they can do and who they are and how far along they've come. And I'm not afraid one bit of playing young guys. If rookies play, I'm fine with that. I haven't been doing that for years. That's a positive if that can happen. So we have to give those guys opportunity to show themselves, and so that's really what it is. And if you notice, we're mixing everybody at all spots with that intention.
Coach, you mentioned games are won in the trenches. What are your thoughts on Alex Kaplan and Dylan Parham?
Well, both guys, as the question came up about the pads, we can't tell now. We can tell they know their assignments. We can tell they know their footwork and their steps. They're making their calls. But until we start knocking each other around, we won't really know. And we need to feel their power. But they've done just positive things so far, so we're in good shape going into the padded days.
Last one, Adam.
Coach, you brought Jermaine Pratt in pretty late in the process. Jermaine Pratt came in pretty late in the process. I guess everyone knows what he can do. He's a very accomplished player, but how is he in terms of picking up what you guys want from him?
Well, he was off to a good start first couple of days. He's got a hamstring just a little bit tight, so we're just making sure that he can get to the fifth practice is really what we're doing. We're going to give him this day off and then try to get him right back. He's instinctive. He's physical. The way we're playing him, the things we're asking him to do are right up his alley. And it's a pretty tough-looking group now. Pretty tough-looking group. Devin and what E-Rob brings, and what Pratt brings, and what we're seeing. Jamal has an opportunity to try to add. It's a physical, hard-hitting, hard-running group now. I'm really excited about that aspect of our defense. Good.
Thank you.
That's good.
What's going on, y'all?
How are you?
How about yourself?
Good, man. All right, how you feeling so far after the first couple of days of training camp?
Feeling great. The body's adjusting to the training camp life, especially being out here. It's something that I'm not quite used to, but I sort of am, being in Miami for the past 3 years. So the heat's not so much the problem. It's getting my breath in the altitude. That's the big thing. So it's been fun, though.
We hear Pete talk all the time about competition. That's kind of his buzzword and how it comes across in every position group. What's the competition been like among the running backs?
Yeah, no, it's been smooth, honestly. Everybody in the room, we all compete against each other, but we're all trying to maximize as many opportunities that we possibly can. And especially the younger guys in Ashton, right? I've been able to help him out in some of his reads and everything like that, and telling him, hey, look, you need to make a one cut. Instead of trying to jatter at the line of scrimmage, because that just slows your timing down with the O-line. So just little things like that, just trying to help not just him, but a lot of different guys, and they're helping me as well. Just understanding the vision of everything, and it's been fun. And the competition's always going to rise up. I always got to lead the room because I'm the older guy in the room. So it's been fun though.
it like being that veteran voice in the room, being that leader to the younger incoming players? Like, I mean, you did that in Miami just with A-Chain, so, you know, now you have Ashton Genty. How's that for you as a leader and veteran?
Honestly, I like the challenge. You know, I feel like it's a way for me to display who I am as a player and as an individual, and also to showcase my abilities as being a leader. Right? You know, you want to say you want to be a leader on the team, but for me, it's all about action. And this league is what have you done for me lately? You know, that's the mantra that's always going around. So if I'm able to come in a situation like here and provide my leadership and my presence, and to show everybody that, hey, look, you know, I'm gonna put in the work. You could learn from me. Just ask me questions. I'm an easygoing guy. You know, I'm one of those guys that you can come up to and talk to about anything. And if you want to, you know, keep it on the hush, that's fine with me too. You know, I have a open door policy with my personality, as you guys will get to know. So it's a lot of fun, and just wanting to be there for those guys. You know, because once my career is over with, you know, I want to look back and be like, hey, you know, I helped that guy out, and you know, whether he took the advice or not, you know, I did my part, and that's something I got to look myself in the mirror at.
How real is the learning curve in pass blocking for rookies? It's something that's talked about all the time, but how real is that?
It's really real. You know, the game, when you're in college, right, and me and Ashton talk about it, you know, when you're in college, you know, you have a lot of different things coming at you. The game's not as fast as like what it is in the NFL. And you have to slow down your thought process. You know, you have to make sure you're reading all the defensive keys that allow you to, in response to whatever the defense is doing. So it's a challenge for guys, you know, especially the young guys, but they're getting the hang of it. You know, especially this generation, they're picking it up just like that. So.
There's something that you learned when you were a rookie, or wish you knew when you were a rookie, that you've been able to kind of impose on these younger guys?
Yeah, you know, one thing that I try to tell guys, even when, you know, looking back when I was a rookie, I had one guy that was, you know, a huge presence, Darren Sproles. I was with Chip with the Eagles, and Darren Sproles was my mentor. He was a guy that I truly leaned on, and you know, one of the things that he helped me out, you know, with my my growth was that, you know, hey, look, you might not be the biggest, you know, might not be the strongest or the fastest. Well, in my case, I am the fastest, right? But you know, it's all about your heart and your want to, and your determination, and ultimately your goal. You know, once you're done playing the game, because you know this game's been going on for 100 years, right? And so. What can you do to leave your legacy? And that was one of the messages that came across and hit me so hard. You know, if you start that foundation right now, it's just like building a house, right? You have to have a good foundation. If you can build that foundation as a young guy and work your way up and continue to showcase yourself each year, in and out every year, you know, that in itself is going to leave behind a good legacy. And that's something that I try to tell the young guys too. So, and they, like I said, they pick up on it.
How have you seen him change? What has it been like being back with him?
Yeah, no, it's honestly it's kind of like a full circle moment for me. You know, I was with him at the Eagles, and then the following year I was with him at the Niners, and then we dispersed, but we always stayed in contact somehow, some way throughout those years. And now being back with him, you know, the offense is definitely completely different than what I was accustomed to, you know, some odd years later, but. Years ago, but honestly, man, it's cool to see the growth. It's cool to see, you know, what he can do within the offense, and then, you know, to have guys in this offense, you know, the O-line and even, I mean, Geno's just, you know, I've been a fan of Geno since way back, you know, because he's a guy that's been underestimated most of his career, and people didn't really see him as a starter, and then, you know, he blows up, and now he's with Seattle, with Pete, and, you know, all that combination. It just it's inspiring in itself. And so to be able to have Chip and Geno and all these different pieces around, you know, and Brock and Michael and everybody else, man, it's a good feeling. I have a really strong feeling about this offense. You know, it's something that I haven't felt, you know, for quite some time. I mean, no disrespect to, you know, my previous employers, but, you know, just the camaraderie and being a first-year team is definitely something that's, you know, taking a huge still on.
Estimated bucket too. I mean, an undrafted guy coming into the league, and obviously Chip gives you a chance right away. It seemed like you guys hit it off. Was he big in your career in that way, having a guy believe in you?
Yeah. I mean, obviously because he believed in me. You know, he gave me my opportunity, and I tried to make the most out of it. And you know, I always bust his chops here and there. I'm like, hey man, you know, you didn't really have to let me go. You know, I was really working my tail off, but. Nah, it's all fun, man. It's all, you know, it's just a part of the process, and that's something that, you know, as a player, that's what I want. You know, I want those tough times. I want to be able to look back and be like, hey, man, it was all worth it. You know, that was one of my biggest things as a player, is just looking back and being like, you know what, you put in the work, you did exactly what you needed to do, and people can't take that from you.
Ashton said that he hasn't had his wow moments just yet because the pads aren't on, but they're about to come on here in a few days.
Yeah.
What's the mentality like for a running back room, just excited for that physicality?
Yeah, I mean, you get better run reads. You know, that's a big thing. You get to showcase, you know, what you're here for. And you know, me, I've been there and done that before. But I'm excited for Ashton. I'm excited for Sincere. I'm excited for Z. You know, some of the guys that get that opportunity, and I get to see them in person. You know, it's going to be fun, and I can't wait because those pads do tell a lot. You know, when you put those pads on, you gotta really bring your stuff. You gotta really have that mentality and that attitude of want to. So it's going to be fun. I can't wait.
With that being said, how important is it, or what's most important for you right now and running backs right now in this application for the pads?
Just getting used to the footwork. I think that's the biggest thing. Just getting used to the calls and understanding the assignment and the footwork. And then now when you get those pads on, you know, you got to squash all that out of the way because that should be routine now. Now when you get into the pads, it's more so about getting those fits. You know, having that mesh with your O-line, having that mesh with your quarterback. That's the most important thing.
Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate y'all.